Independent National Electoral Commission INEC stopped the collection of permanent voters' card PVCs on Sunday, February 5th. As of today, many Nigerians who registered for the 2023 general elections do not have PVCs. A large number of those eligible voters whose names are on the voters' register turned up at INEC offices to collect their PVCs with their registration slips, only to be sent away empty-handed by INEC officials on the grounds that their PVCs were not found or they were omitted. Some of those affected people made multiple unsuccessful trips on different days to INEC offices. INEC assured some of those voters that their cases will be escalated and they will be contacted to pick up their PVCs. The reality is that the registered voters showed up to collect their PVCs and INEC failed to honor its mandate. So joining us now is Adamolekun, Director of Enough is Enough and one of the civil society campaigners demanding INEC to extend PVC collection in Lagos State to February 12th. I mean, that's Sunday, February 12th, 2023. Great to have you, Yemi. And
thank you.
The truth is, I had a personal case. Somebody literally called me and was ranting. He had to come back from America just because he wanted to vote.
Oh, wow.
And he got here. He had done a transfer from Bagada to somewhere in Lekki. And they told him he was going to be ready. He had gone like 2 or 3 times. And he got there on that deadline day. And they told him, sorry, you can't get. And he was like, why did I come all the way back? I'm sure you get many things like this.
Actually, his is not really that bad because he did a transfer. So it means that if he still has his old card, he can then just make arrangements to vote in Bagada.
Okay.
The ones that are really disenfranchised are those who don't have a card at all, who registered to vote, who are verified that they're in INEC's database, but they couldn't pick up their cards. Because INEC failed to provide the cards. Not because INEC is making the point that they have uncollected. So that gives the impression that people are not coming. We are simply focused on people who showed up not once, not twice, not 3 times. And you're telling them that, oh, your card was not found. You will escalate it. Problem with that, a lot of people didn't know that escalation includes them having to fill a form. So a lot of people will just be told, don't worry, we'll escalate it, come back. And they didn't know. So it was not escalated. And that's part of the point we're making. INEC did not make public its standard operating procedures for PVC collection. So we couldn't educate people to let them understand what the process was. And that's part of the issue.
Was it deliberate, you think?
I don't know why they didn't do it. Because, I mean, obviously people are ignorant about what should happen or not happen. Then you can't ask questions. So one, PVC collection started December 12th. As of January 24th in Lagos, and we've decided to focus on Lagos. Initially, we were taking this sort of nationwide because we've gotten complaints nationwide. But we decided to focus on Lagos because Lagos seems to be quite peculiar. On January 24th, INEC in Lagos issued a statement that it just got a batch of cards. Meanwhile, PVC collection started December 12th. As of January 31st, they didn't issue a statement, but in engagement with CSOs, they said they're still going to get more cards. On the 4th and the 5th, last weekend, they were still promising people that your cards will come. Don't worry, we will contact you. So the question we're asking is, you closed on the 5th. On that Sunday, your officials were promising people that they will get their cards. How is that going to happen? Are you delivering it to their homes? Are you going to call them to come and collect it? So we're saying that INEC hasn't been transparent in this process. But Mr. Agbaje, the rec in Lagos, consistently says that the people who didn't get their cards were people who double registered. And I've maintained that's not true. Yes, there were people who registered, double registered. And I've also commended INEC. What INEC should have done by law is actually prosecute people because it's illegal. But what they decided to do was to just delete your second registration and keep the first one. So that way, they're saving costs. They don't have to print a new card for you. Go and use the first one. But everybody that we have dealt with as an organization and the signatories to this statement, the first thing we tell you is, are you in INEC's database? So if you are in INEC's database, Mr. Agbaje's premise that it's people that double registered is completely false because I'm in the database to be a registered voter in Lagos. So I'm saying give me my card in Lagos because it's there, it's in your record that I'm there. And so that's what we're pushing for. That look, the precedence is also there. In 2014, INEC Lagos took responsibility that the delay was their fault because they received materials late. And this is the same thing we have now. So because of that, they extended PVC collection in Lagos while they shut it down across the country. So we're saying if you've done it in 2014, there's glaring evidence that the same sort of issues have applied, if not worse, then you should be able to extend it also in Lagos to ensure that people who are registered, who are in your database can come and collect their cards. When complaints started last year, we created a portal where people could complain, and we would help them escalate. So we will call you. What's the problem? Did you check if you're in the database? Do this, go here. When the numbers escalated, we started sending bulk SMS because we didn't have the capacity to call people individually. On Monday, we sent text messages to over 800 people just to say, okay, now that the process is over, how did you do? Were you able to get your card? But by Wednesday morning, so this was sent Monday evening, by Wednesday morning, less than 48 hours, 165 people thereabout had replied us that no, we didn't get our cards. So what we're telling INEC is that we're not talking 1 or 2, even if 1 or 2 is significant because they want to vote. We're talking significant numbers, and this is a sample size of people who went to our portal. We don't know who has complained to you or complained to other NGOs. I would hazard a guess that there are at least 1,000, if not thousands, of people in Lagos who are in INEC's database whose cards are with INEC. And they should have a right to vote.
Okay, I guess what is good for Lagos should be good for other parts of the country. So
capacity. I'm dealing with
if you are asking for the extension till February 12, as your group is arguing, then of course the extension should be all over the country. But shouldn't the original argument be that the collection of PVCs should be continuous, regardless of the fact that the election is on February 25? But beyond that, in Lagos State, you also have a peculiar case. It's good you mentioned Segun Agbaje's name. Some groups, or maybe a group, they are now saying Segun Agbaje must go. Because Segun Agbaje, they say in their reckoning, is a tribal bigot, is guilty of nepotism for saying that most of the people looking for PVC in Lagos registered in the southeast and that their PVC is not in Lagos. It's a civil society group. It's enough part of that conversation.
So to your point about national, I agree with you, and because the complaints that we got were national, but Lagos had the most number that we have. And because I live in Lagos, and it's something that we can actually follow up on, because part of our statement says we're offering to help INEC. We will come to the centers, help them sort through cards. That was also an issue. People will go to INEC's offices and volunteer to help sort through cards, and INEC will decline. So we're saying we will offer to help sort through cards, put the data online, call people, let people know their cards have been found so they can come and pick it up. If anybody wants to take it up in Oyo, Rivers, and other states where they have issues, we'll be glad to support, but capacity issues. And your second point about Mr. Agbaje, I mean, we're not part of the group calling for him to go, but we're certainly asking for him to be responsible to the citizens in Lagos and their ability to vote. The comments he made, which is what I alluded to earlier around double registration, making that a blanket reason why people did not collect their cards was not true. And that one I'm clear about. But I'm not quite sure I would go as far as saying he's an ethnic bigot. But the comment was just false.
No, they're also talking about him saying other things, like the word immigrants for a group of people and all of that. And also the use of MC Oluomo to do the logistics, which a lot of people know that MC Oluomo has his own partisan leanings, to do the logistics and distribution of materials. In fact, that letter as regards MC Oluomo, I think was championed by the PDP, which is a party in the elections in Lagos. And there's been a lot of call, as regards the Lagos wreck.
Before I go, I forgot your question about PVCs collected up to elections. It's actually difficult. Well, not difficult. It can't be done. And the simple reason why. So by the margin of lead for the election, they need to know how many PVCs were collected. So in case any polling units were cancelled due to security or overvoting or what's the other reason, or failure of beavers, if the margin of lead is less than the number of collected PVCs, they'll need to do the run elections again. So by the time we go to elections on the 25th, INEC needs to have received all the PVCs, so they know how many PVCs have been collected, so they can do those calculations, which is why we didn't ask for it to be continuous. So yes, there should be a deadline. This letter should not have been published. Can we stop that? It shouldn't be published. There, yeah, okay. So that's why it can't be made. We can't have it all the way up to election day. And the truth was, in 2011, I believe people picked it up at their polling unit, because at that time, it wasn't uncollected PVCs, it was actually registered voters, which was a number you didn't need PVCs to be able to calculate margin of lead. On MC Oluomo, Now, when MC Oluomo was head of NURTW in Lagos, he's the party that INEC would have worked with, because INEC's partnership for logistics for elections is NURTW. So for your previous elections, that's who they worked with.
But it's no longer NURTW.
That's my point.
Yeah.
So because NURTW is now, so the point is that in terms of the person, MC Oluomo was head of NURTW in Lagos. So if INEC partnered with NURTW in Lagos for election logistics at any point in time, it was MC Oluomo they would have used.
To go. Very quickly, I see that enough is enough. It's putting out information about election essentials.
Yes.
Tell people about these election essentials. But I'm intrigued by the point about snacks and water. Who is going to provide that? That's provided by politicians in the constituency.
That's not true.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me about it.
Okay, so I've served as an election observer over the last 3 elections. And you will see communities rally around and do that. Communities are the ones that bring out chairs. They will bring out tents. People will bring waters in coolers and snacks in coolers. So it's not just politicians that do that.
If you are the candidate in the constituency, it's better you provide it.
Well, that's not my business. My business is that citizens can do that to encourage, because some people, for example, didn't get their voters' cards. So it's a way of also being part of the process. Go there, make sure your constituents are comfortable, are voting. Yeah, it's important. Essentials. Your PVC, obviously. Comfortable shoes, comfortable clothes, sunglasses, face cap in case the sun comes out, bring water, your phone so you can record and you can send messages, participate online, a power bank, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So please, Lagosians, if you have not picked up your PVC or you were not able to pick it up and you are in INEC's database, reach out to us at EIE. Maybe if INEC gets a list of 5,000 people or 10,000 people that have not picked up their PVCs and can show that they're in INEC's database, they will pay attention. Thank you.
All right, I just got a message now from my friend Timmy. He says, what can you help? They've not picked up their PVC, but thank you so much for your time.
EIE.ng is our website, so send us a message.